MovieTicket.com. I'm here with Tanner Beard, and we're going to talk about his film that he directed called The Legend of Hell's Gate, an American Conspiracy, which he did in 2011. Tell us about this film.
Well, we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary, so that's pretty exciting for us for this re-release. It's got a lot of Texas history in it, a lot of Texas folklore, and some familiar characters like Doc Holliday shows up in this movie in a way you haven't seen him before. He's a dentist in Dallas, and the John Wilkes Booth kind of stories in this, the killing of the White Buffalo. A lot of cool Texas history if you're familiar.
No, I was not familiar with any of that at all. Doc Holliday from movies and a little bit about that history, type of guy he was. Of course, John Wilkes Booth, he shot Lincoln in the theater. But the White Buffalo, I never heard of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never heard of that. And then the character who shot him was so proud that he shot this buffalo. Why was that? Back then, was a white buffalo valuable?
Well, so I'm from a town called Snyder, Texas, which was it portrayed in the movie before it got its name. A gentleman named Pete Snyder, who was played by Buck Taylor from Gunsmoke and Tombstone, and just legendary actor, played Pete Snyder. So all that was kind of real history. The killing of the White Buffalo happened in 1876, and it put my hometown kind of on the map, and they kind of created a town around that event. So if you go to the town square, you can still see the statue of the White Buffalo there.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never been there. I've been to other cities, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas.
Yeah.
Never went there where you from. So that's why you did this film, because you're very familiar with these stories.
Yeah, I kind of grew up watching Westerns, and I don't know what your favorite is, but I grew up a huge Sergio Leone fan. So Once Upon a Time in the West, the list goes on and on. They're the best. They're my favorite.
One of the greatest movies ever made, Once Upon a Time in the West.
Without question.
I still watch that film.
Yeah.
Now you just gave me chill bumps just thinking about that film. Man, I tell you, it's one of the Sergio Leone. Yes, I'm a very, very big fan of his.
Likewise.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I grew up watching cowboy films. I really enjoyed them. Now, let's talk about another character, Will Edwards, played by Eric Balfour. And also, Eric Balfour is a very good actor, too. He's really known. But who was Will Edwards in this film? Was this a real person that you wrote the script about?
So with the legend of Hell's Gate and how it got its name, Hell's Gate's a real place in Possum Kingdom Lake. It's a rock structure. And, before it was a lake, you could actually pass through it. So Will Edwards, a kid called Kelly, and James McKinnon were actually three characters that are based on fiction, but the story of them was totally real. So you kind of had to implement, these characters in it. They were just characters I kind of created. Just based off of kind of like the people that were in the area at the time. So they're kind of a product of early, Texas Americana. So they were fiction, but everything else that surrounds them is real, which is kind of cool. So they were just three characters that I was, fortunate enough to create and have, the great actors that were bring them to life.
Well, that's pretty good that you created these characters to put them into that Hell's Gate storyline, whatever it is, and put it together in this film. Now, let's talk about your character. You're an actor also. Not only you're a director and writer, but you're an actor also. You played James McKinnon, and you created this Irish character. Give me a little bit more about him, James McKinnon.
Yeah, well, my great granddad, Ennis Floyd, his father actually came over on the boat from Ireland. So there's a lot of, you find a lot of people that just have Irish running through their veins. I'm one of those people. So there was, a huge influx of, all sorts of people from all over the world coming in. But I just wanted to capture maybe that, Irish character that I'm more familiar with in my own family. And I actually went to Ireland. If I went back and did the role now, I'm sure I'd do a lot different. But on the day, I actually just was kind of mimicking my bus driver in Ireland. I mean, he just had the most crisp character, and I was just like, that's it. That's who this character is. So I was kind of mimicking the bus driver, and the character kind of formed itself. It's kind of that Southern Cork accent, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I was kind of familiar with that. Now, you call this also an American conspiracy. What do you mean by that? Is it hidden because it's conspiracy, or is it because they don't want nobody to know about this? Why did you call this an American conspiracy?
I think for the kind of the John St. Helens character, with him being added to this story, it's actually real Granbury, Texas history that allegedly John Wilkes Booth lived out his days in Granbury, and so I just kind of wanted to bring that to life. And we all know that John Wilkes Booth died after he shot the president, but there are these conspiracy theories that
Uh huh.
he actually was a part of the witness protection program, and he lived his days out and there. And we researched it. We found some history that the evidence points to that being very true. So that kind of bringing some, again, some Texas history there that maybe a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people don't know about it, but then too, you wouldn't you would not really read that in history books. You just
Yeah,
go
they're
to
not printing
the
that.
part. Yeah, they're not putting that out. You just read about John Wilkes Booth getting killed in that barn or whatever he got killed in. Well, let's talk about one of the actors, a very good actor. I always like watching a Glenn Morshower.
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah, man. So, how did you get him to play J.H. Gordon? And also, how was it for you to work with him and also to direct him in this film?
Well, I mean, he's a master of his craft without question, but he's also a Texan. So we
Oh,
got
I didn't know that.
he happened to be in Texas, and we presented this role to him, and I think he just, he gravitated towards the project, which we were so grateful for, and he just killed it, man. I mean, you don't have to give this gentleman much direction. He is a true master at what he does. We were grateful to have him.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Now, also, when you were shooting this film and you were working with the actors and you also an actor going in and out, how was your relationship with the group of actors that you were working with? And
Um,
also, are you the type of director you do what's on the paper, that's it, or let's improvise and let's see what we get? What kind of
It's a
director are
great
you?
question. I had a great producing team that we did a lot of homework before. So when I did get to work with the actors, even being in the scenes, we tried to do as much rehearsal and hanging out with each other as we possibly could. I hung out with Lou Taylor Pucci, quite a bit, and I think our rapport was a lot of fun during the filming of it. But you kind of go in there, and we hired such great talent. Once you gave them the information, it was important to let them kind of breathe life into the characters. And I thought all of them really embraced, where we were. We were shooting on location. So, once you get in the gear and the costume, it kind of feels like you fall right into place and you're recreating history. So I
Right.
think the actors really gravitated towards
Oh, oh, that's good. That's good to hear.
that.
Now, let me ask you about some of the process of putting this film together, like the editing and things like that. Did you do a lot of the editing, or you worked with a team of editors? And did you say, "Hey, this is what I want to final. This is what I want final in the film with the editing and things like that."
Well, we're actually in the process of making a 10-year anniversary director's cut, which every
I hope
director,
it's not going to be 4 hours long.
it's gonna be 26 hours long. Bring some popcorn. No, but it's actually there's a lot of story that didn't make it into the final cut.
Ah,
Where we were when this movie came out. It's a great story, but there's so much more, and there's so much more history, and so I'm excited to bring that to life for the director's cut 10 years later. That's exciting for me because I'm like, oh man, there's so much story that wasn't told in this. But at the same time, we wanted to make a film that was marketable, that people could, if you weren't so engulfed in the Texas history, maybe this could be a little bit more for you on the Western side. And I got to say, I'm excited for the 10-year cut that's coming out. But you got to watch both. You got to
oh
see
yeah.
this one, and you got to watch the next one.
Now, the first cut that you put out, did you have to put it out that way because the studio said, I want this way and I only want so many minutes so they can make money? You had no control over that?
You know, after the movie's made, sometimes in this industry you have to forfeit your right to some of the things. But it was important that we got this movie out and this story out, and I think that we all found a place in this timeline where it worked out then. But that, you know, I want to, you know, as the creator, you want to go in and say yes, but you know, at the end of the day, the entire story wasn't told. So I wish it could have maybe had more, but they, you know, they're the studios, they're the executives, so they make the rules.
Yeah, I will admit, when I was watching it, I was saying something's not complete with this scene, and something's not complete with this, especially like when he shot the white buffalo, and then next thing you know, well, he's getting congratulated. Well, what? Wait, something seemed to be missing, or something like that. So whatever I felt that was missing, you're gonna fill that for me, then, huh?
You know, I can't wait for this 10-year director's cut anniversary to come out. You're gonna love
Yeah,
it.
I want to. I really want to because, like I said, this is a very good film that I saw. I enjoyed it, and I love more. I love watching films. Now, let me ask you this, Tanner. I don't know a lot about you. How did you get started in film?
That's a good question. I was very fortunate when I was 16 years old, living in Snyder, Texas. Barry Tubb, who was, you know, famous for many roles, but Wolfman from you know, Top Gun.
Yes.
He actually made a movie called Grand Champion in my hometown, and you know, it ever had everybody from Bruce Willis to Julia Roberts to George Strait. Incredible kids film called Grand Champion, and I got the opportunity to work on that and be a part of that. So that was like going to film school for me. And I'm
Uh-huh.
pretty sure I just kind of caught the bug, and you know, by the time I turned 25, I was able to be on in production and with Legend of Hell's Gate. So you know, if it hadn't been for those circumstances, I don't know if we'd be talking today.
Well, before you got to your film, what did you do before you got to your film? Were you a production assistant? Were you an editor? What did you do before you got to be a director and writer?
Sure. Well, you know, I went to New York Film Academy at Universal Studios here in Los Angeles.
Hmm.
So I did have a brief conservatory, you know, school. We kind of learned on film and we shot on digital, so you had to kind of relearn even after school. But you know, I came out to LA at 18 and you know, grinded, acted in as many things as I could get out here. You know, as a young actor, you're struggling, you're you know, waiting tables and all the you know, the whole cliche.
Right.
And I just started writing. You know, I just started writing a film that I wanted to see, and took, you know, just took it from what I knew, which was a lot of Texas love and history, a little love letter back to Texas. This movie was for me. So I think, yeah, I think I just kind of gave it hell and just went for it.
Oh, okay, that's good. So you did almost everything before you finally did your film in the film business, and I
Yeah,
hear a lot of stories like that.
yeah. I mean, you know, you're never above a job if you really love the industry. So I know if it was setting up lights or filming something or you know, being a DP yourself, you just you do what you love, I guess. But fortunately, it led me to doing this feature, which is incredible.
Yeah, yeah. Like for myself too, I have a master's degree in performing arts, and I've done some extra work. I never had a lead role, only in commercials as
Yeah.
I got older. Especially
Commercials,
down here in Florida.
commercials are still jobs. That's great.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I have many commercials out, but they're they're out. They're out there somewhere. A lot of them are non-union because I'm here in Florida.
We'll be YouTubing it later and seeing what's up.
Oh, okay, great. That'll be great. Now, one more thing about this film I like to know. When you were casting the natives, like you had Eddie Spears at Wakarit, is he a Native American?
Absolutely, yeah. Famous for, you know, Eddie. Well, Eddie and Michael both incredible actors, but they, you know, embrace their heritage and they play a lot of Native American roles. And you know, I mean, Michael was in Dances with Wolves. He's been at it, you know, as a young child. So I mean, getting to work with those guys have worked with Steven Spielberg. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they were, I mean, just the real deal without question.
Ooh, wow, that's great. And I'm glad to see that you are following that now, that have the real people play their real selves. I like that. Now, what's next, Tanner, besides the 10-year edition of The Legend
Yeah,
of Hell's Gate?
we're on post on that, and man, I'm doing all sorts of stuff. COVID kind of was a setback for
Oh,
some
tell
of
me
it.
about it.
I,
Oh, oh.
started a golf brand, TBG White Buffalo. Go check it out if you're on just tannerbeardgolf.com. We're trying to do. We're in works with a Christmas movie right now.
Oh,
Hope to start shooting soon, and got a little project that I'm acting in coming up in Utah. So it's just, we're back to work now, baby. We're back to work.
oh, that's good. That's really great to hear that, man. Because I love people to be a success and keep on doing what they love. And I love the films too. That's why I'm doing this part now. That's why I'm a film critic and things like that. I wanted to stay in it some way, somehow,
You bet.
just like you
Absolutely.
doing, man. Really.
Yeah.
Well, Tanner, thank you for taking time with me, Al McGhee with yeticket.com. And The Legend of Hell's Gate, an American conspiracy. Let everybody know about this, the people that I know, emails and things like that. But I cannot, now, please do me a favor. Send me a link to the 10-year edition.
Oh,
Let me
when it's
see
out, I'll
it.
let you know, man.
Yeah, man, I want to see it. And I'm going to compare the two.
You gotta see which one you like better. But I'm gonna go with the director's cut. Just me.
I always go with the director's cut.
Right, I'm not biased
Always
at all, right?
I always do.
All right,
Well,
man.
thank
Hey,
you, Tanner.
enjoy talking to you. You bet,
Hey,
man.
you too, man. Have a
All right.
great day and have a great life.
Yes, sir. Cheers, man.
Off to you.